Hey y'all, hey. Was having a conversation with a friend yesterday, and we were talking about overextending ourselves to people who may be a little draining. You know, you have conversations with certain people in your life, and when you get off the phone, your energy seems to be depleted. When I was talking to her, I was telling her that sometimes we we want to be such a good friend to the other person that we want them to know that they're not left alone, or they do have support. However, we tend to sacrifice ourselves for the good of others in most cases. And I think that may have something to do with my journal entry from this morning. I'm almost certain, because that message is continuously ringing in my spirit about I'm going to read what I wrote. How can anyone possibly believe that they are capable of healing while simultaneously believing that they are not worthy of healing? That simply just is not possible. Our first line of defense is to believe what we have access to. That's where the work of self-love begins. How do you know you love yourself? Are you consistently putting the needs of others before your own? How do you speak to yourself when no one is in the room? And is there a limit to how much you push yourself? Or do you rest when your body says rest? I wanted to also mention that when we have a form of energy exchange, it has to be a equal give and take. And I'm not saying everybody is going to have this, but there would be some things within your psyche that will allow you to have some type of pleasure for between this exchange between you and this other person. You have to have that there in order for it to be something that is beneficial also to you. Because keep in mind, your self-love journey is a process of give and take. What you're pouring into yourself is also going to be extinguished to others when you come in contact with them. And it's okay, instead of giving from your cup, give from your saucer. But when you have depleted yourself from giving and giving and giving, you're actually doing the opposite of what self-love is causing you to do. The next part of the entry in my journal is we have been operating on an old paradigm that says we must sacrifice ourselves for others, that we are selfish when we tend to ourselves, and that we are lazy when we are not consistently moving. This is a form of conditioning that we have adapted as a slave mentality. The lie that was formed to hinder our growth and development. In self-preservation, you honor God within you when you care for yourself first. Love thyself goes with the law of oneness, the law of cause and effect, and the law of vibration. And I wrote down also what those particular laws are. The law of oneness is, it teaches that we are all interconnected, and what you do to another, you are in essence doing to yourself. When you genuinely love yourself, honoring your worth and healing your wounds and respecting your spirit, it naturally extends outward to others. The law of cause and effect is what we give energetically returns to us. Basically, you reap what you sow. The law of vibration is love is a high energetic frequency. When someone practices self-love, their vibration shifts, and that energy influences how they treat others and what they attract into their lives. Now, when we are continuously on a constant basis giving and ignoring the soul that we have, the spirit that's within us, when we are ignoring that and we're constantly giving outside of ourselves, we are depleting ourselves energetically. We are allowing our energy signature to be depleted in a way where it's going to not only affect how we treat ourselves, but it will eventually affect how we treat others. We think that the more we give, the more we'll receive, but that's not how that goes. If you're receiving more of self-love within yourself, you're building up that vibration, you're building up that energy signature where your battery is overflowing. And this is where we want to be in giving to others. So you have to give to yourself before you give to others. When you practice spiritual law, you are allowing yourself a balance of duality. I think I'm going to start with most times we feel as if we're not being productive if we're not helping others. But we cannot help anyone until we help ourselves. And in your self-love journey, you are putting yourself in a state of care. You're healing yourself from the inside out. And self-love is not about being selfish at all. It's actually the best thing that you could do for humanity is to love yourself. Because think about it. If how you treat yourself is a direct reflection of how you treat others, wouldn't you want to love yourself even more? You know, there's so much going on in our society where people are not genuinely caring for themselves. We have a number of people who have been abused as children, and they have abandoned themselves as a result of that. And that state of mind can lead to a world of destruction. We talk about, the abuser, the pedophile, the person who has done wrong towards children, women, and been abusive in ways that I could not possibly fathom of being. But we don't talk enough about how they got to be that person. There is a system that is orchestrating these things, this dis-ease to go and run rapid through our communities. We do not talk enough about the pedophiles that are in our family. We're still trying to gatekeep secrets that are hindering our entire bloodline and our entire heritage because we are trying to keep a wrap on something that is meant to be talked about, not only in certain sectors of our families, but in our communities, in our states, in our government. These things must come to light Because if they don't, how are we going to rid ourselves of these things? How are we going to change the system from what it has become? Are we going to continue to allow pedophiles to dictate how we live our lives daily? Are we going to continue to be okay with people who harm children purposely? Or are we going to stand up for the little child that's within us who was abandoned, who was abused, who was neglected? Are we going to stand up for that child? That's how we start doing something. People like to say, oh, this problem that's going on in the world is bigger than us, and we always come to the table with what the problem is. But what is the solution? The solution to fighting against this sense of perversion is to first heal ourselves from the inside out, love ourselves, allow our healing for our inner child to come to the surface, and look at those things that happened to us in the past. People like to say that that doesn't bother them, but that actually dictates everything that you do and everything that you don't do. If you were abused as a child, your mindset is still there in that development. You have not moved past that abuse. Your body has grown. You have learned some new things, but you have stifled your development because you did not know how or what to do in that moment. But now that you're an adult, you have the responsibility to heal that inner child. You have the responsibility to take that wound and see to it being nurtured, and making sure that that wound is not the reason why you're making the decision that you're making now as an adult. It's the reason why self-love is the vital aspect of who we are this day and age. So yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day, and I love you, but God loves you more.